not precise, not focused, not clear enough in our understanding. In fact, there is something which is a ruh, which is the soul, the spirit, which is in the body of the human being. And this is, in one of the prophetic tradition, what constitutes, in fact, a human being. So when we speak about nafs, sometimes we translate as a spirit, as a breath, or sometimes we translate it as the human being, the body. And in fact, we have here to be very careful. In fact, what is a human being is this spirit within the body. So the soul within the body. This is a nafs, which is constituted by a body and something which is the divine breath that is within us, and it will become for us our soul. And here there is something which is important. We, as you know, when you have studied the Greek philosophy or Christianity, for example, and we come to this understanding, we may find in all the traditions here, coming from the very old Greek tradition and also in Christianity and Judaism, elements that are exactly the same. We speak about the heart, we speak about the soul, we speak about the body. But what is quite important in our understanding, and this is the starting point of our discussion on salvation, is how do we qualify these elements? And if you come to the Greek tradition, you will see that in the Greek tradition, the soul is perceived as positive and the body as negative. In the Christian tradition, you have also something which is the original sin, which is the fact that you are who you are is connected to the sin from the very beginning. And what you have to do is to try to find a way to save yourself, and this will be through the mediation of Jesus. In the Islamic tradition, there is no original essential qualification, neither of the body nor the soul. The soul is not per se good or the body per se bad. This is not at all morally qualified from the beginning. And this is something that we can find in the work of Abu Hamid al-Ghazali in Ihya Ulumuddin, a very essential book that he wrote on this. And then he was also dealing with, philosophers and this relationship with the Greek philosopher. But he was coming to this discussion about the qualification and the moral qualification of these elements of our being, which is completely different. We use the same words, we do not qualify them the same way. Why it is important here also in our understanding of the human being? Because the starting point is this one. In fact, from the very beginning, the human status is two things that are qualifying human being. Innocence. And this is why we have a prophetic tradition. It's a weak one, but the message that is conveyed through this hadith, which is the prophetic tradition, is quite important, is that the sons and the daughters of the people who are, for example, in a time of war, this was a relationship of, very conflicting relationship that the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him, had with, his own people, the tribes of Mecca at the beginning. And the people who are rejecting the very essence of Islam and the one God and the new religion, is that their sons and their daughters are innocent. So he had a dream about them being in paradise. And the people who were his companions were shocked. The sons and the daughters of these people who are trying to kill us are in paradise? Yes, because they are innocent. So it's about, to be a child. This childhood is about innocence till the age of reason, till you become aware that you have responsibilities, till you are accountable, mukallaf. This was the word I used before. And here, this is something that we find also in all the classical tradition. It's not new what I'm talking about, but it's out of all this, and even the work done by the jurists, the fuqaha, you can get a philosophy on the concept, the Islamic concept of human being, is that the very beginning is all about innocence. You are innocent. You are not a sinner by essence. You are innocent. And then there is a second thing which is quite important, and this is coming in the second surah of the Quran, the second chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, where it's said that there was a relationship between the angels, and this is an image which is very powerful, where they have to bow in front of human beings. Why? And this is what the scholars told us, because he is free. So at the beginning there is innocence and freedom. Freedom as the starting point of anything which is describing the human being. And because there is freedom of innocence, we understand the meaning of dignity. And this is why we have in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ قَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We gave to human beings his or her dignity. And this dignity is understood as coming from this innocence as the original status, and freedom as the first status, the first reality that a conscience, that an intellect is dealing with. And al-karama, it's coming from these two dimensions. Why is it important? Because in fact, my body is not bad or good per se. My soul is not bad or good per se. My heart is not bad or good per se. It's me, with my innocence, my intellect, and my conscience, who have to decide what I'm going to do. So the moral qualification is not coming through the essence, it's coming from through the action, my behavior. So I am innocent at the beginning, I become aware of my responsibility, and this is what I'm going to do with my body, which is going to tell the body, is it the right way to behave? So the body will have, out of my behavior and my conscience, this moral qualification, which is not exactly what you find in the Socratic tradition, for example, or the Greek tradition, for example, even in the Christian tradition. And it's closer to the Jewish tradition on this qualification, even though some of the tradition, what you find, for example, in Maimonides' work, it's more subtle than this and it's more complex as to the moral qualification. But if you speak about salvation, you have to start with this. How do we categorize this moral qualification of human beings, of the elements that are constituting this human beings, and then the human beings, and then what can they hope, or what is their hope, or what are they looking for through their quest of meaning here. So I would say here that this innocence and freedom, this intelligence, and then where we have to decide for ourselves, this is where we get the first ethical qualification. And then, once again, what it is said here is you have the choice. And the very beginning is this. If, even though if I believe or not, this is my choice. وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. The one who wants, who is going to believe, and the one who doesn't want, he's going to not to believe. So this is something which has to do with the status of freedom from the very beginning. And then you have to decide the relationship with your own self. And this is why it's all about education. You were innocent, you have to be responsible. It's not a philosophy of guilt. It's not to nurture the sense of guilt. It's to nurture a sense of responsibility. And then this sense of responsibility will tell you now what you have to do first with your own self. And it's all about education. And this is why one of the first way of talking about God in the Quran is first Allah as his name, but also Ar-Rabb. Ar-Rabb, we used to translate this into English or other European language is the Lord. In fact, Ar-Rabb, the roots of the word, it's about tarbiyah. It's connected, it's the same roots. It's about the educator. Is the one who is educating human being to come close to him. And then what we have to do is to go through a process of personal, intimate, self-education. Why am I saying this? Because this is the starting point of salvation. Is that what should I do with my own being? You will be saved if you start to educate yourself. By doing what? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. The one who is going to to purify his soul, his heart, his self, knowing that in yourself you have dark